Okay guys, the highlights from Tuesday in our chat room. I don't usually call a trade except in rare conditions in the first 5 or 10 minutes in the chat room. CTL met those conditions this morning. Now, when we take an early trade, we take very quick profits, tighten up our stop. But I said CTL long over this little 5-minute candle right here. And the stop's going to go below it. Get those out of the way and show you what happened. It's basically, let me get this right, 39.25 entry. And I mean, within 5 minutes, it's 39.60. As you know, you can get some of your biggest moves early. And it was a nice way to start the day. Real quick profits, and look what happened. Came right back down. As it came back down, now we were selling into that because it was an early trade, but as it came back down, I said this could just be a stop run here. And it might give a nice turn right here again where they come down, take out the stops, and then this ended up being the low of the day. So some people in our chat room took this again down here after scalping the first. But we got a lot of people made some real quick money in the first 10 minutes on that one. First Solar, my best call of the day. Called it when it looked like this. First Solar, let me pan out real quick. See this big move the other day? And so the next day it never broke its early high. The next day it never broke its early high. So oftentimes when you get a big move like that, a few days later, sometimes you get a consolidation for a couple days, and then a few days later you get a break at the early high, and they pile back in again, thinking here we go again, right? And maybe some shorts covering as well. So anyway, the call on this was 22.49 for FSLR. Looked about like this when I typed into the chat room, let everybody know, hey, watch First Solar, high of day break could work. My worst case stop, 22.26. So 22.49, 22.26. And right there, within 5 minutes, it's almost 23 and ended up going up a total of 80 cents to 23.29. And a real nice trade, real nice. And the daily chart actually is starting to look pretty interesting on this one. One of these days, if it breaks up through the 200-day, this could, this could make a measured move up to 30 bucks or something. So keep this one on your radar. The daily chart still looks good, but for me today, it was just a trade. FAST I had on long watch because it made that big move yesterday. Today it gapped up a little bit and kind of flagged. I said over the first break of a previous 5-minute candle here, this little flag break might get you a nice move. So it was somewhere around 44.80. And within about 10 minutes, it's up 40 cents. I did not get that trade, but that was my idea, and it ended up chopping around for a long time after that. But that's something that worked late. And I know I'm jumping all over the place here. Late in the day, JDSU looked like this. I said JDSU is getting shaped down into the 200-day on the daily. And a couple of our members took this on a 5-minute candle bounce play right there. And again, nothing to brag about, but a quick 20 cents. Well, not a quick, about 30 minutes. 20 cents, but a very, very low risk trade. Leap, when Leap got this big pop on this pullback, I called it long at 767, somewhere right in here, and it went over the next, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes to 8. Again, nothing to write home about, but money in our pockets. GILD was one I just timed poorly. I said GILD on a high of day break after this flag could rip. And I gave like only a little over a dime stop. I got the high of day break there, and the stop was like a dime below, maybe 12 cents below. And look what happens. It comes back down, stops out, and then I lost track of it. I didn't watch it again. The next high of day break, it was off to the races. So good idea, ill-timed, which can happen. Starbucks, SBUX. Let me try that again. Late in the day, I liked Starbucks as a bottom feeding play. It looked like this. How do I pick a bottom on this one? Where's my mouse? It got what I call shape change, all right? You need to learn this if you're going to do intraday bottom feeding. If you just loosely connect the tops of the candles, you don't need a drawing tool. You can just do it in your through a visual, right? But you can see it's just grinding lower. You see the subtle, but it's there, the shape change on the tops of the candles. I didn't do a very good job of drawing that. But if you loosely connect the tops of the candles, you can see the shape change here. And we want that to be accompanied with more volume. I went ahead and gave a verbal long here when it bounced back up to 48.92, 48.93, and 20 cent stop. So never came close to stopping out. I was a seller for 20 to 30 cents here on some. And then when it came back down here, I was back out the rest flat. and ended up closing fairly strong. So we did call the low of day in Starbucks. I just didn't get much out of it. Back in the day, this would have done what we call a V bottom, and climbed up and maybe taken out the high of the day. They don't do it that often anymore. Oftentimes this shape change I just talked about, you get a bounce and then it takes all afternoon to give you a little bit more. But it was still quick money in our pocket. Looking over the notes here. Oh, a CI Cigna got an intraday pop here on this pullback. I called it long at try to find it in my notes here. I know I switched to 2-minute candles. I called it long over this right candle here, 48.58, 48.42 stop, and marched through the high of the day. It was a nice trade. We got a good 30 plus cents out of that on the high of day break. We were sellers, not buyers, and stopped out the rest on pullbacks. But it was a nice little trade there too. Nothing great, but it worked. And looking at my notes, that's about it from the day. Ended up being a pretty nice day though. First Solar was my big one, and it was a nice nice morning, starting with a quick gain in CTL. It's always nice to start the day nicely green in the first 10 minutes. I'm not a big fan of trading early, but when they meet our parameters, I will take an early trade, and CTL certainly did that. All right, I'm not going to babble any further. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow.